Hello and welcome back to Gin and Talk. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about the different gin styles.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna kick it off with this most OG of gins, and that is the Old Tom Gin.
Correct. Old Tom Gin would basically be the original gin,
Yep.
the first kind of style of gin that was consumed and made. Most people think of London Dry when you think of most classic style, which we'll get to in just a moment.
Yep.
The only technical difference in how Old Tom is made today is there's some sugar added after distillation. We'll kind of explain, the difference between that and London Dry, but that's basically the main technical difference. Now, when it comes to why this happened originally, is because we're talking about 1700s, really crude distillation, bathtub gin. So it was quite common for people to add sugar or turpentine to the gin afterwards to make it more drinkable because they didn't really have the technique to make the spirit properly.
So the second style we're gonna talk about is the London Dry style.
Beautiful. very professional there with your presentation. I like it. Camera ready. So London Dry, basically this is the only technically regulated gin in the world. So a lot of different spirits around the world have specific rules about, you can't basically call X unless it follows a certain process of either aging or distillation. So London Dry, let's go ahead and kill the first misconception, which is?
It does not have to be made in London or England.
That is correct. So London Dry does not have to come from London. It can come from anywhere in the world. According to the EU, it has to be at least 35% alcohol by volume.
Okay.
It has to be distilled with organic ingredients, so no essences or oils, so like actual, of course, juniper with actual citrus peels, anything else you put in there. And lastly, you cannot add anything after distillation. So that would be the difference, just talking about the Old Tom style, where you're adding sugar after, which is part of why it's not a London Dry gin. And those are kind of the main points you need to hit, and you can slap London Dry on the bottle.
Alright, the next style we're going to be talking about is the Navy Strength.
Navy Strength gin.
Yes.
So this is a classic style that, of course, is tied to the original home of gin.
Yes.
So in London and in the UK, because at the time of gin production kind of growing, this is when the Royal British Navy and colonization was happening all over the world. So the story of gin is also intertwined with this. So when it comes to certain classic cocktails like the gimlet, the gin and tonic, and Navy Strength gin is also a style that is very tied to the Royal British Navy.
Okay.
So as legend has it, you would get your gin rations, which is quite normal all over the world at this time for people in the military to get rations of mind-altering substances to make you a little bit more for the wear and tear of battle. So if you were a higher ranked officer, you would get a stronger proof. And then kind of the more it went down to the totem pole, to the guys mopping the deck, they would get a more watered down version of these gin rations. And the officers would get 57%.
Wow.
Navy Strength, which was also flammable, which is kind of always the fun bar talk of that. And story and legend has it that the reason it was at 57% was that if the gin ration were to get into the gunpowder, because they say they stored them in the same place, the gunpowder would still ignite. Because you would hate to be without gunpowder and without gin if you're getting in a cannon battle in the high seas, right?
That would be terrible. The next style we're going to be talking about is the barrel-aged gins.
Barrel-aged gins.
Yes.
So we spoke about barrels a little bit with Navy Strength. And there's also a lot of interesting history to barrel-aged spirits, wines, everything, because of course back in the day, liquids were being carried and traded by barrels, and these barrels have an effect on wine and spirits. So this is like kind of a subcategory that's been really revitalized and is becoming a very popular subcategory in gin today. So it's kind of where a whiskey or aged rum lover and gin lover can unite or maybe cross over, taking a gin, finishing it in a barrel, 3 to 6 months generally, just giving a little bit of that flavor profile, the spice, the vanilla, things like that. So it can make for a really nice sipping gin, or even a nice gin and tonic or gin and soda.
Nice. All right, the next style we're going to be talking about, which is my favorite style, slow gins.
Slow gin.
Yes.
And how do you spell slow gins?
S-L-O-E.
Correct. correct. So not S-L-O-W, as in you're moving slow, as you might drinking too much gin.
Yeah.
But that actually comes from the sloe berry. So this is basically, it's a tradition, right? It's like an old school family tradition, a lot of Western Europe. During the springtime, you'll pick these sloe berries. They're a little red berry, kind of similar to cranberry in the sense that you wouldn't just eat them by themselves. They're like super tart and a bit bitter. But what you do is you go out and you get your little basket and you frolic in the countryside. You pick your sloe berries, and then you get some kind of a large jar or vase. Throw in a bottle of gin, or a few bottles, I don't know. Depends on how many sloe berries you got. Throw in those sloe berries, throw in some sugar, let it sit, and then basically you drink it in the wintertime. So it's something kind of like fruity, is sweet, nice to have for that type of weather, but you can really drink it in any weather.
Yes, yes. And the next one we have is modern gins.
Modern gins.
Yeah, what are modern gins, Jesse?
They're modern, you know, for the most part. So I think, you know, how we here at Atlas define modern gins are mostly gins that focus on indigenous botanicals, the region where they're from. I would say this category like might be the most vast today, because this is what you see quite commonly. Like if we're going to make a gin in Singapore, we're going to focus on Singaporean ingredients and botanicals. If you're making a gin in Sydney or San Francisco or Tokyo, you're going to focus on, you know, oftentimes things that come from the land, obviously in the day we live in, like sustainability and using things around you, farm to table, makes sense and is also very popular for consumers. And I would say secondly, in general, not super juniper focused. So like the London dry styles, classic styles, more like juniper's there, but it's kind of playing either at equal parts or sometimes even taking a back seat to some of the other botanicals.
Ah, that's cool. Well, there you have it, all the different gin styles, and you can find all of them here in Atlas. So please like and subscribe, and
We'll see you next time.
bye.
Ciao. So part of this,
Cut.
man, come on.
Come on.